At the time of this recording, Tuesday, August 1st, I found out that Oklahoma is sending their state's National Guard to the border. This isn't the first state to do that. I think Ohio or Iowa or something like that had sent their National Guard down to the border here in Texas to protect the border, which is total bullcrap. As we all know, nothing at the border is being protected. Families are being forced back into the water. The razor wire still hasn't been lifted, and the buoys are still there. I mean, there's still talks about it being removed and all that. So it's good that the government hasn't given up on it. But I want to focus on the National Guard. Oklahoma National Guard, just like the Iowa, just like Ohio, just like, I think those are the only two. But when you've got other states pitching in their National Guard, their military, their state's military to the border for a cause that my governor should be responsible for, it just goes to show that this is what I was talking about this entire time. You got to pay attention to what's going on in your state. This is your tax-paying dollars being put to be being used this way, because more than likely my Texas governor hasn't used any of the state's taxes in order to do this. He's bumming money, bumming workers off of other states, including your state's National Guard. So to be placing them onto the border and just doing absolutely nothing to to handling this issue on a progressive manner, it's pretty frustrating, at least for me. Because as we've all seen, when Alejandro Mayorkas had been in charge of the little stuff that he has been in charge of, foundations were set, facilities were made, COVID migrants were quarantined, people had shelter, and they had facility workers to shelter them. Some were volunteer, but some were not. A lot of money came out of that. Even a couple of them, like SOS1, accused of, taking money. The National Christian Association of America, or of America Association, the NCAA, they also took a lot of money from the government to hold up a cheap-ass facility and pocket the rest of the money. But nevertheless, stuff has been done. And if the government were permitted to actually facilitate and put workers on there, doctors, to keep the sick quarantined, what do you call them? The pencil pushers, the paper pushers, migrant administrations workers to handle all the paperwork and all this good stuff, we would have an actual functioning infrastructure, and the immigration department would have its own industry, humanitarian services or something like that, to where medics, construction workers, plumbers, electrical people, telecom, as well as, food providers, farmers, ranchers, all of them would have a stake, a share in every single one of those companies, would have a share of the migrant processing. And why not? It works the same way with Habitat for Humanity. All these houses here in San Antonio, we've got entire communities being made for Habitat of Humanity and the other housing authorities like HUD, Haven for Hope. Down here, we've got one of those. SAM, which is San Antonio Mortgage Ministries. That's a church-run mortgaging business. So, it works. It works, from materials to make the shelter, to the plumbing and the electric and the telecommunications, the internet and access ports and all that, to even landscaping. There's always a tree planted on one of those little pieces of land. One in the front, one in the back sometimes. But nevertheless, construction worker to pave the roads for that, foundations for that, all of that is being done. All of those industries have a share in applying that. And that's a lot of work. That's a lot of good economic investments put to good economic use. So why are we shortchanging ourselves just because we're doing it for immigrants? If we're already housing the homeless, if we're already housing the veterans, why are we shortchanging ourselves when it comes? Why is this nation shortchanging itself when it comes to housing immigrants? And it's not even housing; it's just making facilities. And again, as I've suggested before, put them in towns that America doesn't even want anymore. Put facilities for the migrants in abandoned towns that serve no purpose to America, because we don't want it anymore. We don't need it anymore. We don't need those abandoned towns anymore. It's just a place for drug users or whatever to take advantage of. Well, we can get rid of the crime with that, which leads to another aspect: more cops, more law enforcement agencies, special victims units, trafficking departments, and just the beat on the street, all those into these housing communities. Why are we shortchanging people to have a chance in the career of law enforcement in facilitated areas where we keep migrants? We keep them there for 2 years, have them go through the paperwork, have them go through the schooling or whatever, because teachers could get money. I'm sure more teachers are out there looking for work. Have their holding facilities in towns that have been abandoned and that America just doesn't want anymore. Have those facilities there. A lot of foundations already there. There's so much stuff to take advantage of. So much stuff to take advantage of for our country to benefit. That being said, it's all being flushed down the tube every time a stunt like this is being done. Every time the governor does this shit, let's bring in some let's bring in some National Guard from this state, National Guard from that state, and just have them patrol the area. It costs millions of dollars to do that, but more than likely it doesn't. They're not the soldiers are not being paid $1 million. They've got an assigned check. Okay, they've got an assigned salary, and it's nowhere near the millions of dollars or $1 billion, because Governor Greg Abbott has sued for billions by this time. Those soldiers aren't seeing a penny of this. Those medics aren't seeing a penny of the $1 million. They're just keeping whatever assigned salary that they have. And that's wrong. It is just plain wrong. Millions of dollars could be invested into this. Billions of dollars could be profited off of. But instead, we got chumps like this governor of mine and every governor that participates with this, that are spending millions of dollars pocketing, hundreds of thousands in their own pockets for this promotion of hate, this form of hate that's being done on migrants in this case. Migrant children, for those who are fully aware of the companies that are using child labor and child migrant labor to run their facilities. Everything from fast food to a meat packing corporation. It's swindling and it's hustling. And that kind of stuff belongs in the streets with swindlers and hustlers. It doesn't belong in our political leader levels. Now, to say that doesn't exist, I understand that it does, but it's never been this obvious. It is just so obvious. Right now, my Texas governor is being sued by the government for inhumane acts of cruelty by putting razor wire in the river and the buoys to complicate and drown migrants. Okay? If the government is smart, hold on. If we're lucky, the government will make a smart move by way of IRS investigations. Billions of dollars has gone to the border, and this is all that we have to secure it. Okay? Just in 2022 alone, $6 billion plus. Okay? And now he's suing for more, and he's borrowing from other states and all this stuff. That's here in Texas. Okay? If we're lucky, the government will make at least this one smart move in IRS investigations and find out where the hell all that money went. And if it turns out none of it can be put into security, border security, which we all can clearly see none of it has, maybe a little bit of chump change here and there, like the way I've talked about that $750 to Kinney County just to pick up dead bodies that don't even do an autopsy. So we're supposed to take their word for it that nobody has committed any hate crimes in killing these migrants that they find dead due to heat exhaustion or floodings whenever the rainy seasons come. Okay? Which honestly, I think criminal investigation should be launched on Kinney County, Kennedy County, Del Rio County, Uvalde County, all of these counties that are collecting checks from Governor Greg Abbott, these $100 to close to $1 million. One constable actually did get $1.2 million, by the way, from Greg Abbott. Okay. Or he was a sheriff. I'm sorry, he was a sheriff. My fault. $1.2 million, and then he got an extra $1 million to share with his squad, his police squad. Sorry, mosquito. So if we're lucky, keep your fingers crossed. If we're lucky, the government can have this investigation, particularly through the authorizing the IRS to investigate where the hell that $6 billion plus possibly $8 million by now. I forgot to check the numbers. $8 billion for border security that is still not only not secured, all there are just death traps there that's doing more harm than good to asylum seekers and catching less and less traffickers, actual criminals. Remember that guy, McCraw, Stephen McCraw, the spokesperson for Department of Public Safety, sending out those emails of 7 individuals with razor wire injuries, and him saying, look, see, it works. We caught these criminals. Never mind the fact that the victims alone on that one leaked email from the trooper medics totaled up to 9 victims that drowned and got killed by that razor wire and buoys. So And that's not including the 128 that barely made it across, survived, just to get pushed back into the water, where some of them actually were even more drowned. I think it was a total of 17 drowned to their deaths because of exhaustion. So the 9 that got killed by the razor wire buoys, plus the 17 that drowned after being pushed back, okay, that's 21 people to his 7. Okay, to his 7 criminals caught. Okay, it victimizes more than it brings justice. Plain and simple. This is what $6 billion went to? I don't think so. I don't think so. A criminal investigation by way through IRS investigations, fraud, mishandling of money, it seriously needs to be done. And starting right here with our Texas governor, who's the one that's pulling all this crap, and then move over to DeSantis and Ducey or Ducky or whatever the fuck his name is over in Arizona. All of the governors that participated in these worthless acts of security in the name of border security needs to be completely investigated and hit them where it counts, right at the pocketbook, right where the money is. Because this is what it's all about. I've said it time and time again. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Once again, it's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Billions of dollars to pull little stunts like this. And then for our leaders to say, you're safer now, you're welcome. Billions of our tax-paying dollars, okay? You're safe now, you're welcome. And all of you out there, well, maybe not you who's listening to this podcast, but everybody around us believes this shit. If we're lucky, the government will have an investigation starting at the pocketbook, authorizing IRS investigations. Okay, I'm being eaten alive by mosquitoes, and I'm going to stop right now. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you in about a week and a half. Who knows? A week or a week and a half. We'll find out. Right now, it's because I don't have the funds. I got the funds to pay for all my bills. I don't have the funds to pay for the cell phone where I'm doing my podcast off of. And it might be 9 days or 11 days. I really don't know. It depends on the direct deposit on how fast it gets my first check into my bank account. Sorry about that. But again, I'm one of you guys. Okay? We all go through this from time to time. I'm one of you. I'm not some journalist, some business owner. I'm not anything like that. I'm not any kind of influencer. I'm one of you. And even I go through these ups and downs with my bills. That being said, we'll see you in about, what is this? The first. So we'll see you in about 1 week or 2 weeks. 1.5 weeks. How about that? All right. So y'all take care. Take it easy. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.